Let's talk about ChatGPT in writing. Greetings, my name is Nina. Welcome back to my channel. In the late 2022, the world saw a new invention, the invention that took the world by storm. So the invention is ChatGPT. I do remember that I opened a ChatGPT account back in 2023, but I did not understand how it worked at the time. But then, in late 2024, I started using ChatGPT again and wow. ChatGPT is actually pretty solid. You could ask things and the chat would answer you. I do know that there are limitations, that ChatGPT isn't always correct. ChatGPT is capable of making mistakes and there's a limit if you are using a free version. But at the end of the day, ChatGPT is pretty great tool. And here's how you could use it for your writing. I hear a lot of people complaining. They be like, AI is taking over the world, AI is going to replace authors, yada yada yada. AI has no soul, it cannot write books. Calm down, ladies and gentlemen. AI isn't there to write books for you. Well, it definitely isn't there to write books for me. I do the writing, and ChatGPT is simply an assistant for me. Here's how I use the chat. I came up with a lot of writing ideas before October or November 2024. That's the time when I started using ChatGPT. I came up with a lot of concepts. Then I started outlining them, etc. And the way I use ChatGPT is the same way a lot of people, they use Google. Well, because before ChatGPT was invented, modern authors, the authors that wrote the books in the previous decade, they Googled things. Okay, let's not talk about the authors of the past that did not have these tools like Google, Wikipedia, and ChatGPT. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about modern authors. Is that even if ChatGPT did not come to existence, a lot of people would Google things. On Google, you would research technical stuff. There are a lot of jokes of writers researching things on Google for their writing, especially when they write mystery novels. What makes ChatGPT an amazing tool is that you could describe a situation you came up with to ChatGPT and ChatGPT would explain if your situation has credibility. So this is what I did. I came up with certain concepts, certain situations, certain scenes, and I explained to ChatGPT what happens in my book, and then I ask it, does this have credibility? Does this work good? And chat might be like, oh, this could go like this, or this could go like that, or yes, your writing has some credibility, you write things well, or something like that. For example, you are writing a scene in court. Maybe you are not writing what happens in the court per se, maybe your concept has nothing to do with the judicial details or something, but you are looking at the bigger picture and you are writing an outcome. Yeah, the court part is simply a small part of the story that moves the story forward, and you want a certain outcome from the court, and you could ask ChatGPT how to make sure this person wins at court or loses at court, and ChatGPT helps you with that. Yeah, it does more for you than Google because you explain situations, but you need to explain situation in detail because chat can misinterpret the situation. You need to write in detail. And there's another tool that is your friend, and this is a name generator websites. Yeah, I know that a lot of writers, they struggle coming up with the character names sometimes, and this is where name generator websites, they come into play. You may find the proper name there for your character, or maybe it could be the other way around. You could go to the name generator website, find a name, and create a character. This is what I did for my previous novel. Yeah, I found the name of one of my characters from my previous novel, Nightingale Divine, on a name generator website. And above all, that name fits the story. story. Yes, my dear writers, name generator websites are your friends, and so is ChatGPT. The biggest misconception a lot of people have about artificial intelligence and ChatGPT is that they think that these tools are going to write books instead of people, and that's not the case entirely. Well, first of all, artificial intelligence isn't that developed. 2025, it cannot write a novel that would feel 100% human. There might be mistakes. Artificial intelligence must not write your books for you. It should not write music for you. Artificial intelligence is simply your assistant. Well, imagine for a while that instead of artificial intelligence, you are talking to someone about the ideas for your books. Excuse me, but this is the case where the boundaries, they disappear. I do not see the difference between sharing my ideas to artificial intelligence and to somebody. Because artificial intelligence, just like other people, they may correct you, they may come up with a few details for your writing, and they may also correct you if something goes wrong. This is how artificial intelligence works, at least for me. At the end of the day, it's you who is writing the novel. At the end of the day, it's your ideas, your concepts, your situations, your characters, your setting. Your job as a writer is to have these things make sense. Artificial intelligence is just a tool. It makes you see things from another perspective. And what if you are writing a huge lore for your story? You have this great world building ready, but you realize that something is missing, and artificial intelligence can help you fix things. Or maybe you want to write a huge world, maybe you want to write a lore, but you do not know where to start. Also, a very unpopular opinion. I am not afraid that artificial intelligence is going to take over literature or music or something. I do not think so. Well, first of all, it's not that developed, at least not yet. It's not going to sound perfect. You're going to feel if something is written by AI. And second, artificial intelligence isn't independent intelligence. It's not going to take over. A lot of people watched a lot of sci-fi, like Terminator. It isn't how artificial intelligence works. Artificial intelligence 100% obeys humans. I have this book, 21 Lessons for the 21st Century by Yuval Noah Harari, and he pointed out the misconception about AI is that it isn't going to take over. This isn't Skynet. Probably the biggest flaw of artificial intelligence is that it's too obedient. It is there to obey you. Artificial intelligence isn't going to take over the world if we humans learn how to use it properly. I do think that there's supposed to be laws and ethics and everything regarding artificial intelligence, and under the right conditions, artificial intelligence would be a really useful tool. Yeah, I went from discussing writing to discussing social and philosophical issues or something. I do remember that my mentor told me that ChatGPT is very relevant these days. Artificial intelligence is very relevant. I do realize that we humans need to regulate artificial intelligence. However, we should not demonize it. Because if you take a look at history, electricity was evil, radio was evil, television was evil, the internet was evil, you name it. And now we use these things. And it's going to be the same with artificial intelligence too. Now a lot of people, they scream, artificial intelligence is evil, but I believe that in the future it's going to be a normal thing, just like electricity and the internet. If I happen to publish my next novel under the right conditions, this is something I want to discuss later, I will not be ashamed to admit that I used ChatGPT as an assistant. No, do not get me wrong, I write everything. I do not ask artificial intelligence to write things for me. Imagine this situation, I am Frodo, my writing is the ring, and the ChatGPT is Sam. ChatGPT cannot carry my writing for me, but it can carry me, aka it can assist me. Yeah, this is how I see this tool, and you shouldn't be afraid of using it. Anyway, that's all. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this discussion. What do you think of artificial intelligence and ChatGPT? Do you think it's going to take over the world? Or maybe we humans should learn to use it properly? Let me know down in the comments. Personally, I believe it's the latter. I'm not scared of artificial intelligence taking over, if we humans don't allow it and if we learn to use it properly. See you next time. Goodbye.